Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Roxana Wolf, also known as my first sound on Cabera. Cabera de Guerra. Today we are playing some more of Regal Tales. I know I have played Regal Tales in a while. It took me a while to record. I get slow motivation and stuff. I've been busy with school, and I stepped doing some artwork. So you don't look forward to seeing that in a few weeks. Let's get back into Regal Tales now. The gray fur around Jerry's meat. Jeremy. Forgive me! Jeremy's face bleeds into a glistening shade of pink. Ugh. An inaudible clash of metal on metal could be heard between Jeremy's legs. His own chain meltating, causing him to squirm uncomfortably under Nadja's paw. A devious smile crept over Nadja's maw. She sprang at the young knight's knees. Oh my god. Ah! She brushes her fingers up against the back of his neck and teasingly pulls the scruff of his fur, toying it with her thumb while cooing. Then again, since you're already here, we can just take you in as a prisoner of war. Keep you in our company while we wait for the Emperor to show up. She directs his gaze with hers and shows her clan behind them. The majority of the front lines are now female. Women of some sizes gleefully wave with longing smiles towards Jeremy. Some loosen armor to be revealing. Ah, this would be Frankie. Jeremy shivered and squirmed timidly while the lioness nipped at the back of his neck. I can't help but laugh when I read this. His tail fidgets uncontrollably at how badly it tickled him down to the bone. It was starting to get on his arm, while not just silly tortured him. Poor guy. Oh, good gods. Gods. Nadja revealed in Jeremy's response, toying with his confusion once more. She scoops his head into her chest. A more solemn tone mocks from her. Oh, by the gods, who am I kidding? A noble knight such as you shouldn't endure an unjust fate. You are the emissary to the Emperor after all. And what would it say about us? I'm sure someone like the Emperor appreciates the diligence towards him. We should do just that. Right. Now I'll go speak on our behalf. We will be here waiting for you, Sir Jeremy. Before Jeremy has time to respond, Nigel left behind almost the rear of his horse. Jeremy holds on for dear life to his horse once it bolts off. Nadja twirls to face her tribe. A devilish grin sprawled over her maw as her maw cackles out. Keep your weapons out, sister. Oh, shoot, I about to drop my phone. Keep your weapons out, sisters. If that was what passes for the Empire's best, this war's climax will be ours for the taking. Ha 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 ha! That's the best laugh I have. The eternity of the group hollered full-heartedly. If the Empire could be humiliated in such a way, this war would finally shine to silver a hope for them. Jeremy crosses the threshold to Imperial camp, being greeted by Imperial sentinels. They waste no time and go directly to the Emperor. Inside his private tent, the Emperor and his officers all were huddled around a world map. Once Jeremy entered in, everyone's attention snapped fully on him. You're back! Oh my god, it's a bull! I love bulls. Yeah. Roneo Pax. Ah! Oh, I like the music. Let's turn it up a bit. So all of you can. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is playing through my Bluetooth speaker so y'all can hear better. What news do you have for us? I... Did they do anything to you? Jeremy paused to sigh after being cut off so frequently. Speak up, lad! The enemy is literally on our toes right now! Jeremy holds up a finger and hold a word in the conversation. Okay, you gotta turn this down. I don't think enmity is the right word to describe him, at least in this case anyway. Everyone stared quizzically at him. What do you mean? Well, they are more friendlier than most we've encountered. Everyone in the tent stowed a morbid look his way. Friendlier? Friendlier how? The young knight recounts his brief time with the mighty lioness. Every word, every touch, and every smell she shared with him. The thought of her touch alone made him start to fumble at his words. You see, Lady Nadja presented herself. No, I mean, held herself in such a manner I didn't find threatening. The Emperor holds his paw in front of his face. Lady Nadja, you say? Who is she to Shashkara? A messenger? Officer? What? She shows her house to be the leader of them. All, my lord. She wishes to have a word with you. Does she now? And I'm supposed the entire Shashkaran war party is just her entourage? I gotta get my glasses on, I can't read that real. Yes, now that we're on topic, what did their lineup consist of? More infantry, archers, cavalry? Oh, their lineup. Jeremy's body stiffened after recollecting his time with the Sharskins. Myriads of Sharskin men and women looting over him made his cheeks flush. I see right here what you guys doing here. His tail starts to coil around his waist with a nervous fidget. Breaks out from his leg with a nervous twitch. His legs start to fidget under his armor. Spit it out already! What type of gear were they packing? Oh, they were packing something, alright. Eh? Both the general and the emperor rubbed their eyes in annoyance, all while the lieutenant snickered to himself. Alright, so Jeremy, that will be enough for now. Indeed, Lieutenant. Yes, sire. I had a voice from my lost it. See to it that Jeremy makes it to the wash house. Don't even bother stripping him down. Just toss a cold bucket of water on him for now. Oh, this poor guy. It'll be my honor, my lord. Come along, lady killer. The towering pool pats Jeremy on the shoulder and motions him to follow. Jeremy, however, trots forward first to bow the emperor. He held his own tail in his both paws as he did so. I will be on my horse, ready to beckon your call, sire. You're still getting the cold shower, lad. Jeremy gripped from his tail tightened. A mournful groan billows from his chest once the dread of a cold shower shook in. Okay, I'm not gonna share that info. Yes, sire, at once. Morn guides Jeremy out of the tent, leaving Owen Cellar and Pax. That was enlightening. Of all the years we had him speak in the Empire's behalf, never had him seen so flustered. Cellar drinks from a goblet in mid-thought. Well, seeing how the war propagates, I can't really pronounce words that easy. My glasses are, I just cleaned them and they still will not look nice. Well, I can read and everything, it's just the glare and the light and all that everything. The Sharskurans were for both, being both the mightiest and the most seductive of anyone in the war. I think fate drew us to the seductive route with them. And if that is the case, I feel sorry for Jeremy, then. Most likely never stood a chance with them. Makes perfect sense in this situation. We would be stained in blood by now if this party was out to overpower us. They're going for a far more close and personal approach, it seems. This war may have just made them desperate enough to try this approach on us. As much as I love to poke holes in that strategic logic of yours, desperate times would call for desperate measures. Especially with that lioness, with that what that lioness was wearing. The Emperor throws a weak laugh before drowning himself with his goblet. Tempting. Very tempting. I'll break her hearts once she figures out I took a vow of celibacy. To swear myself to no one until this war's done. Quite the ill-fate for seductress fate indeed. The general shakes his head in amusement to the Emperor mocking decree. He rubbed his eyes with his talons and sighs. Shut up. What? I take my vows seriously. Yes, it acts as the perfect defense whenever arranged marriage comes up. Well, that is one of the benefits to the vow. You are correct on that part. Not your women brought her entire clan as a gift just to propose to you? Do you truly think the mighty Shoshkan warlords will surrender their army for a chance in your pants? I really want to play this for a while now. Now I play it, I can't do nothing but blush and laugh my ass off with this. The Emperor thinks on the concept briefly, takes another sip from his goblet, and shrugs. What? You don't think high enough for your Emperor to achieve such a feat? No, I'm just imagining all those lovely suitors we've allied during the war. How distraught do you think they'll be if you win and chose a savage over them? That's a bit offending! I'm more tempted to speak with this Naja more and more now. Oh, that is simply cruel. Are you the desperate one here? I don't care how long it takes to find a queen. I'm not going to be wrangled in by these petty traditions every kingdom seems to follow. None of them whom we saw tickled your fancy? No! Half of them were already old and barren. We couldn't have a child even if we tried. And the rest were still children in their own rights. Solar takes a rough chug at his drink and empties his goblet. The Empire will be called many things after this war is finished, but I'll be damned if it's remembered like that. General Pax sips on his own drink, chuckling softly at Emperor's expense. What of that, Captain Perica's daughter? She is at a ripe age, last I remember. The boar captain. Well, we've seen firsthand how they eat. We have to reinforce the entire dining room with their aggressive eating habits. But she's the only princess that meets your age requirement, my lord. If we can even call her a princess. You have the best eyes out of all of us, but not even you can tell the difference between the men and women at that dinner party. No, no, no. I only had one drink beforehand. I told you this. It was really dark. There were bubbles and wine, and both broke out in laughter. Neither could bear how ridiculous it was to go from war tactics to this. Pax was the first to collect himself. We should get going, my lord. Shall we get going, my lord? We don't want to keep your next suitor waiting. Shut up. I love playing this. I love doing the voice characters. Not just stood idly by her banner while conversing with members of her tribe. Her small talk was cut short from a blasting sound of drums quaking from the forest. A massive formation of knights on horseback shots out in the rows. The green fields overseeing the forests were quickly overtaken by legions of shining armored knights. It only took a fraction of the Emperor's forces to take up the entire green field. Was that supposed to be an act of showing the might of her? Naja nor anyone else seemed to be fazed by how many Imperials stood before them. As long as everyone had hope in Naja, they never expressed fear. A second orchestra of every soldier comes open. All the soldiers come open a gap in their formations and making a way for a second legion of knights. These knights were more decorated than the rest. These were the elite knights to the Emperor, and in the center of them all was the Emperor himself. He and his commanding officers strode into the front of the formation. With a simple flick of his wrist, the Emperor silenced the drums, and in its wake a collective roar tore across the Imperial Legion. Every man and woman of numerous races cried out in a glorious chant in the name of their Emperor. The Emperor and his men strolled out to the open field in shouting distance to nod on her tribe. Solaire turned his attention to the adoring man, ready to do battle for him at the moment. Notice, he holds a finger to his lips as if shushing the crowd. He did so, in fact. Everyone silenced himself at the whim of the Emperor. A sly smirk tugged at his lips by doing so. Solaire brings his attention back to the opposing sides, catching a glimpse of the banner Naja had planted. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Oh, now I can see better than me. I'm actually looking at the screen. There's Naja's clan on the right. Naja's clan's on the right, and the Celevolar and his clan is on the left. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with? From the look of your banner, you're this famous Shaskar clan. No? Naja cackles as she shouts out to her clansmen. Hear that, boys? The mighty Emperor called us infamous. The clansmen hooted and hollered at the compliment. Knowing how other highborns greet one another, Naja mockingly bows and gestures around while addressing the Emperor. Why, yes, you guessed it. You also have the honor of this meeting its Grand Chief, Naja. I wonder if I'm seriously saying her name right. Naja? I just really hope. It's Solaire Valar. Just Naja. Naja nods with pride in her voice. Surname holds no meaning to us. To carry a name built off the legacy of others is pointless. Just because you come from a name doesn't mean you shouldn't instantly earn the respect placed into it. You make a name of your own or none at all. The Emperor nods thoughtfully to Naja's words. But I must say, you're making a name for yourself pretty well. Here I thought you seafooted your way out like all the other highborns. But here you are, and here I am. So what of your business do you want of me? You wish to negotiate with me, did you not? Naja Mi's expression darkens into a psychotic grin. Oh, it's getting real now. Oh, I've got to deal, all right. I aim to end this war. Solaire arches a brow with a comment with hope lightening up in his eyes. Oh, do you now? Well, I'm all ears. Spit it out then, my dear. Well, it's simple, really. I'm going to take your head. Dang. Is he the one that ruined her life or something? Like, just dang. Okay, so let's get back to the game. A commotion erupts in the Imperial formation. Voicing their outcries to Naja. The Emperor holds up his palm to silence them. Hope leaves his eyes with dread floods into them. I challenge you in a single-handed combat. Give this war a satisfying end. Take up your arms and fight for once. Not with others, not with tricks, but with honor in your veins. The taunting roars of the Sheshkar leaves the Emperor unfazed. His golden eyes sternly stare off at Naja. It's been known the Sharskins are an ambitious clan. I would never expect it to be this ambitious, though. What makes you think I ever accept a savage arrangement in the first place? We could kill you now and your names would be left in the dirt you stand on. The Sharskins fall silent as Naja strides out closer to the Emperor. She looks down on Solaire with her head held high. The fact that you are here, not behind some wall, says something about you. The fact that you're knee deep into into enemy lines show that you are someone who fights with his own mother and hunts resolve. The Emperor is taken back from the lioness' words. This war has taken everything from us, our dignity, our honor, our friends and families, everything. And for what? In the name of a half-witted ruler? Why waste a life on such a thing? Because they have special blood? Because of a stupid name they hold? No. Solar starts brushing his mane in thought of words. We're sick of it. Sick of all this bullshit. We're finished seeing something in this world blindly. Blindly follow false leaders. Here we follow the strongest, most noblest of warriors. Naja points vigorously at the Emperor's head. And that is why I want your head. The biggest, most infamous highborn this war has ever seen and can end this war in an instant. Not only will this war end, but my people will cease to be used by cowardice highborns like you. The Sheshgrin clan roars and cheers to the leader's decree. You gamble your clan away in hopes I agree to this? I have thousands of men ready to fight in my name. The Valar name. Why should I risk it all for your petty zeal? Otherwise you will prove my point. How you're just as cowardly as the rest of the Highborns. You won't fight your own battles, so you'll have to someone else do it for you. So go ahead and prove me right. I'll get your head one way or another. You can even have a champion fight in your stand. See as many as you'd like. It won't matter. I'll kill them all and I'll make sure to have them all stand to your eyes once I rip their heads off. I'll show them the last moments in life was fighting for a coward. Oof. She a bit salty. Go ahead and call us savages, mindless brutes, simple pawns. Before this war began, I despised you highborns. All I've seen done by your kind is leech off of us. If I can't burn like the likes of your kind from this world, then I'll just settle for the one before me. The clansmen began an uproar, cheering on the brilliant leader. Naja murmurs to herself while her clan cheers drown her out. And once I do, not only will this war end, but the Shaskara will cease to be the grunts of war, but the conquerors of this world. General Pax trails behind Solar Horse. Just say the word, my lord. They are the only enemy units we scatter for miles. We can cross them in minutes. The Emperor peers over the cheering clansmen before turning to see his own men and women ready to die for him. He sternly glares off to Naja. If you were to take my head in single combat, what fate do you have in store for my men if you succeed? Serial. Then go home to the families unharmed. You have me at my word. As will your men, as will your men I am to win. Pax grabbed Solar by the arm. Sir, what are you doing? If you're worried about the casualties, we won't suffer as bad as they will. Emperor, the Emperor glares at Pax with a stern expression. Won't suffer, you say? Tell me, General, how often do you walk in the battlefields after a victory and just smell it all in? I gotta move some stuff around. Oh, my back. The General is lost for words. I have all of them. It always smells the same. Rot, piss, and fear. It feels like I'm actually going into character for this shit. Flashbacks of horrible blood-filled battlefields slide into the Emperor's mind. The images of impaled horses, decapitated heads, and smashed bodies that bared in Valar's crest haunt his mind. Oh, this poor guy. Not, it's not that serious. You don't have to. You don't have to fight this guy. You can fix everything with just some conflict, some a solution. You can just talk. Right, Spuds. Spudgy. Spuds! If I am to build one on the Valar's name, it won't be off my men's corpses. The Emperor dismounts his horse, leaving every Imperial troop stunned. He undoes his cape and unsheathes his claymore sword. I accept your challenge. Joe, you obeyed so we can end this quickly. Who said this was a sword fight? I said single-handed combat, didn't I? Nadja bares her claws at him, ready to snatch a victory out of the air. Not too late to back out with your tail between your legs, your highness. Ha 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 ha. Solara grows before sliding his sword into the ground and planting it upward before undoing the heavy parts of his armor. General Pax rushes over, baffled and enraged. My lord, if this is the pride thing, I must say it's not worth it. You can't possibly... What? Don't you think I can't beat her? Pax shoots his eyes back and forth between the Emperor and Naja. Noting her massive 7.5 size Solaire, 6'3", calculating it all, he fumbles for words. Don't go breaking every bone in his body this time. Around, we just restocked our bandages. No promises. Pax lead the horses away as the Emperor strolls forward. Naja stood idly as surprised. Solaire approached her in the middle of the clearing. Her head held high as a sly smirk snaked its way across her mouth. This second, she reached out to offer a handshake to the Emperor. No, don't kill him. He seems like a cool guy. Solaire darts his eyes back and forth from the eyes of the dog. It was almost too easy to believe at this point, he thought to himself. He slowly reached out and accepted the handshake. He never let his guard down, not even once, but found himself tipping forward as the lioness forcefully snatches him by the forearm. His cold golden eyes stay off in hers as they accept a challenge. He keeps losing his focus as Naja chuckles with a morbid glee. What's so amusing? Naja softly cackles. Oh, nothing. Wasn't expecting the almighty dragon-blooded emperor to be so handsome. No, now she's falling for him, but we all get that feeling right now, don't we? Solaire was taken aback basically at the sudden flirtation Naja was giving him. Even with his knowledge about their tactilizing tactics, he still found himself not prepared for it. Already Naja was enjoying the baffled look on her foe's face. Ah, such a shame. That pretty little head of yours will be on the pike soon after this is done. She purred with a chuckle and reaches down and plucks the stray hair from Solaire's head. Solaire winces inside once he's taken her bitter words. He returned the compliment with his own before smirking, and Naja looks up and down. That's one way to claim a trophy. I'm a plague type of guy myself. Maybe I'll have one for your head in my studies once I'm back home. Maybe you want for your. I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna set my little. Scoot over, lads. Sit that there. Spuds, this is my bed. Why are you gonna take up my bed, you little dog? Maybe even one for your rear as well. Naja's eyes lit with amusement. Oh, you like my ass, do you? Naja sifts her body so off her steerier while her tail flicked about. Solara glimpsed at her rear, playing along with their banter. A devilish grin etches on Naja's maw how easily distracted the Emperor became. With a swift lead for her, she backswings her powerful wings to Solara's gut, rocking him 50 feet into the air. Oh, this is gonna be like some Naruto fight, isn't it? The Shush guards roar in excitement while the Imperial troops are left paralyzed in horror for the Emperor. Naja, bathed in dread, the Imperials held and jabs into the pride. Pointing and laughing in savage glee, as Solara begins to fall back, Naja readies herself and backflipped into the air, connecting her deadly feet to his chest. Ooh, let's turn. Y'all gotta listen to this. Listen. Y'all hear that? That's some battle music playing. The might of her kick projects Solara back to his troops. With a glorious landing, she faces her men and boasts with her arms held wide. Laughing heartily, she soaks in the praise her men gave her. She spots Megina in the crowd and blows her a kiss. Megina's her daughter. Solara regained himself before hitting the ground. His claw extending dug into the dirt to slow himself down before lunging himself forward. Naja was too distracted with her gloating to notice her man, warning her of the Emperor's quick recovery. She turned around but was too late to counter the assault. Solara leaps and connects his fist with her muzzle. As Naja staggers, Solara hooks his arm under hers and pulls her down. He ruthlessly fist whips a flurry punches into her gut. Oh, let's just bask in this glory of a wonderful picture. Can I take a picture of this? Yeah, let's take a picture of that. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look at this wonderful work. Anger swept over Naja. She shakes off the surprise attack and begins blocking Solara's fist. She tries and flails him off her arm, but roars out in pain as he sinks his claws into her. Regaining her footing, Naja gripped onto Solara and slammed him to the ground. Each time she clubs him to the ground, small craters were left on impact. Solara loosens his grip on her arm and swings his body upwards, slamming his slided boot into her maw. The force of the impact causes the monstrous lioness to stagger back. I thought she was kind of a tiger at first. Was that? No, wait, she wasn't lioness. What was I thinking? He quickly distanced himself from her. Scuffled up, he growls and holds himself in the readying position for her next attack. Spuds is really curious in the story now. Naja takes a knee while rubbing off her beating. She feels the silent gaze of her men bear down on her, as well as Megina, now rushed to the front to see her mother. While wiping her away her nose of blood, she growls, stewing in rage. Naja slowly rises to full height before she hunches herself on her. over and begins to pace around Emperor like a hungry predator. A savage roar erupts from her as she lunges before she lunges to him. For him, serpenting all the directions, she leaps into the air and dives her foot forward into the Emperor. Solaire hurdles out of the way for the impending force of Niger's foot. A force alone embeds her knee deep into the ground. He attempts to move and jab at her neck. He stumbles back in surprise as Niger kicks out her lay to the ground with clumps of rock and dirt jet towards him. The Emperor attempts to dodge out of the way in the debris, but finds the cunning lioness waiting on him. She sideswiping him at his feet with her lengthy legs, leaving him to fall on his back. Naja hops to her feet and grips the fallen Emperor by the ankle, heaving him over her head and slams him to the ground. In a flurry of blurred movements, she relentlessly slams the Emperor flat against the ground. In his moment of desperation, Solaire found the moment he needed, whilst Naja brings him over her head for another slam. Quickly, he dug his claws into the back of her head. Naja cringed with pain in that brief second. He forced his right leg free and knees into her snout. He jerks his left knee free and embedded it into her shoulder. Using her as a footing, he swings back his right leg and kicks her squarely under her jaw. No. Come on, I really don't want neither of them to die, because I really like both his characters so far. He takes the opportunity from her dazed state to jump over above her, and elbows her dead center in the forehead. The force of the impact brings her to her knees. By the time Naja recovers, Solaire uppercuts her and delivers a powerful kick to her chest. Naja breaks herself across the ground on hands and knees, gasping for air. I need water because I was just reading. Okay. Solaire pants heavily as he cracks his neck. He glares down beside Nala with his claws extended and fangs bared out. Do you understand why I'm the Emperor now? Stay down and I might just spare you. We all know that he kind of likes her. We all get that feeling right here. I seriously got about me some stuff in my throat. Under her painting body, a crooked grin spreads across Naja's maw. Her tail snags around Solaire's ankle with all her strength. She tumbles over and uses her momentum that flings him over her, slamming him face first into the ground. She pounces at him, rolling him onto his back and pins him down with her own weight. A sadistic snarl sinks into Naja's face. She sees the confidence in Solaire's golden eyes start to fade. A flurry of punches bops across his face between every venomous word. You fucking highborns, always claiming the victories when you never earned it. Naja's eyes start to fog over with rage as he stops seeing the Emperor, but all the kings and queens she pledged herself to between each punch. Naja extends her claws out and swings them down to the Emperor's neck. A savage snarl ruptures from her as Solaire holds back her wrist with all his might. Tears start to build up and her eyes flood with rage. The world would be better off without your filth. Naja pulls herself back, baring her fingers. She plunges herself towards Solaire's neck. Solaire spots her plan and quickly counters by headbutting her nose. I have no words for so far this, but I'm slightly. I kind of like characters. I don't want neither of them to die. Spuds, you always want to play when I'm in game, when I'm doing something. You goofball. The impact of the headbutt knocks Naja out of her raging haze. Hissing at the pain in her nose, she feels her weight shift with the Emperor rolling her over onto her back. Solaire quickly slams his knee across her neck and attempts to pin her by her wrist. And allow brutes like you to prey on the rest of this world. The Lion Emperor forces more of his weight down onto the lioness' neck to choke her out. I'd rather chop off my own tail before I see to that. Keeping a deadlocked gaze at Naja, Solaire flailed to see her flexible legs arch forward and snare her by the neck. Using all of her core strength, Naja flings the Emperor off her neck and silver fruit from her. Both lions start to defeat, each face around one another, with the malevolent, maleficent glares to each side. Both lions stride to their feet, each pace around one another with the malevolent glares. The roar of the clansmen and imperial troops cheering for the leaders rumbles to the forest. The pulsating tension builds as each fighters wait for their next move. You seriously grounded me because I won't play with you? You are such a child. You're too old. I will pet you. I will use the force of petting on you. No. My dog wants to. Okay, you gotta lay down. Naja glares down at the highborn lion. The focus breaks as she feels a warm sensation dripping from her ear. She reaches over to find her own blood. An amused smile curls past her lips as she chuckles to herself. I'm gonna enjoy every last second of this. Both lions stare off at each other before bursting for a roar on top of their lungs as they collide once more. Hours fly by throughout the day as the horrendous brawl went on. Both lions continued their skirmish, battering and counting each other's blows. The thunderous roars of their fellow man shook the very ground beneath them. Solaire attempts to jab a southpaw into Naja's gut, but is swiftly flung away and coiled up in her blooded fur. With her prey in sight, Naja swings her fist dead center into the Emperor's armored chest. Thug! The force of the impact hurtles Solaire a great distance away from Naja. He lands on his feet, however, but clutches his chest with gasping for air. The pure power in Naja's attack disfigured his armor with a massive fist indented into it. Grunting in pain, the mighty lioness grimaces while trying to get his armor off. To his journey, he felt the weight of his foe bear down his shoulder. Naja pulled at his shoulder and cooed. "Aw, too snug." A toothy grin spread across her maw. "Allow me." The towering lioness pins the Emperor down by his shoulder with only her right paw before sinking the claws of her left paw into his plate, and the stirring melody and metal and leather crying out. Naja tore open the entire front of Solaire's armor. Naja resorted to the miniature victory over the Emperor, but in her high she failed to notice Solaire swiftly took strands of his chainmail and whipped it across her face. Isn't that cheating? It's supposed to be a hand-to-hand combat. You can't use any weapons, dude. You just cheated. Shrapnels of the armor's plate was still latched into the chainmail, adding a nasty cut to Naja's cheek. Solaire staggered back, finally feeling the relief of his armor lifted from him. He ripped the exposed chest to catch his breath, but Naja wouldn't allow it. She jostled and swung her elbow and bashed it across Solaire's mouth like a hungry snake. She wraps her arm around his arm where he held his makeshift whip. She used the weight of the momentum of her assault to fling the Emperor on his back. "I thought we agreed, no weapons!" She shakes his wrist violently before he lets his chainmail go. Good boy. She hoists him up by the wrist and dangles him over dangles him to her eye level. Solero throws a weak glare over it at her while panting painfully for air, hugging his ribs. Now just savage snarl slowly turns to a mischievous grin. As she amuses the Emperor's exposed body, his bronze fur glittered in the sun, covering his impeccable muscles. Numerous scars were scattered all over his body, yet hardly 100 hindered the value of his beauty. Oh, what a vile thing to be held on a highborn, body scarred up from this dreary roar. I'm sure you must hate the artistry your precious for our ruin. Nadia brushes her fingers across the scars, both in the knees and amazed how Tony's muscles felt through his soft fur. I see it more as a trophy collection from death. April throws an uppercut not toward Nadia's maw, but finds his reach far from her now as she dangles him away from her. Then by all means, let me add this to your collection. She extends her claws out with a savage roar, and Nadia clears her talons over the lion's emperor's abs. Her malicious eyes held on his, eager to see the pain erupt from the highborn. He merely flinches at her attack. Puzzled, Nadia looks down at her claws and found no blood, only clumps of fur were on her talons. She looks at his abs and got seeing no damage was done at his flesh, aside from his streaks of fur. What the? With the lioness baffled, the stoic lion emperor gripped onto his arm she dangled from him, and swung himself up. His fill springs forward and bashes into her muzzle. She lets him go and cups her arching maw. He takes advantage of the confused lions and creates a distance from her. Nadia, snarling the bitter pain, stares down the emperor. Hold on a second. His breathing finally returns to normal. A tantalizing grin pulls across his muzzle. Chuckling softly to the baffled lioness, he runs his fingers across his fur where she tried to tear into. Heh, special blood, my dear? The emperor throws a petty wink at Nadia. Guess the folktales are true. You really do have dragon's blood in you. There's always some truth to tell, I suppose. And I'm no exception. Heh, makes better sense at least. To a normal person, your head should have been caved in by now. Are you now reasons how doomed you are? How this petty fight is a lost cause? Nadia cackles with a cynical grin. Ha! No, not at all. I just have to stop playing with my food is all. Nadia lunges forwards using the strength of all her limbs and dashes towards Solera at full speed. Fine, fall like the rest. Solera mops out his attack. He raises himself for a lunge from her. He would use her own momentum against her and grapple her to the ground. He waited patiently for her to outstretch her mighty arms to do so. Nadia does exactly as he planned. Her arms reached out for him, but stops dead in her tracks and snatches onto his wrist instead, sinking her fangs deep into his bicep. His skin was hard as rock. Nadia, however, was drunk with rage. Her carnivorous fangs pierced to the emperor's flesh. Shocked at her bizarre tactics, Solera recoiled in pain as he starts to bleed out. An agonizing roar erupts out of him. I can't really do that. Conflict continues into the night. Both Imperials' clansmen erupt with cheer every time the battle would fall to their side. With the end of the Imperial encampment, General Pax oversees preparations for his men. He dismisses his war council as the Blue Falcon King Samuel lands beside him. Romeo Pax, Your Majesty. General, my men have related to the situation to all of your captains within my area as instructed. We also set up a more decoy camp to throw the enemy off as well. A roaring applause breaks through Samuel's conversation. He jerks his head towards all coming from. He stammers with complete awe. Is he still fighting that beast? The Falcon is taken back on the unruly side of the Lion Emperor, putting the massive lioness into a headlock. The general sighs and nods. I think he met his match. In terms of stubbornness, neither of them showed signs of fatigue yet. But why though? With what he's capable of, like I said, he's stubborn like this. The king looks at him in disbelief. Naja, the beast you see there, was boasting about honor constantly to him. She must have struck something in him to go along with this. Samuel exhausted a long, winded sigh. We're going to be here all night, aren't we? If you worry about the ambush, we have patrols on every side of our camp. Pax point his Pax point his cane towards the Sharkran war party. So far, they haven't moved at all since the fight began. Lieutenant Marin has been keeping tabs on with his force serving the fight. So far, no one has entering the fight yet. Oh, lovely. We're wasting time and resources, but saving face with a bunch of savages. We're going to kill them if the worst were to happen, yes? Pax scoffs out a laugh. You don't have faith in our emperor. Oh, I have faith in that bastard since we were children, but I'm sure the rest of the empire would react the same as if he loses. The war might even go to an end, be at end if the savages return home unscathed. The Valar legacy will be dirt to the common folk. The general nods at the king's statement. His talons tap across his king deep in thought. Yes, well, there's a fresh batch of tea in his tent if you want any. Otherwise, take a seat while history gets made. I can see it as someone as a joke and can be like, yeah, we're still fine. It's been hours. It's now nighttime. Someone needs to intervene to stop these two children. Someone peers over the general in silence. His blue feathers ruffle up before sighing. I suppose this is the safest place to be out in the front lines anyway. He points in the Emperor's tent. Since he's not using it right now, I'll sleep in his bed tonight. I should advise you, he's been shedding during our travels. Just to let you know, the king rolls his eye with his head tilted up. I'll be sure to leave a feather or two for him in return then. The king and general part ways for the night, leaving Pax to observe the fight from afar. Night sleeps over the land, the roaring clouds slowly dying out. They break into the morning sky, waking the slumbering masses. Lieutenant Moore staggers out of his tent, yawning and rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Coffee. He roams through the encampment and makes his way to a bonfire. He yawns heavily while taking his beefy fingers cups out of the ancient grab that felt like a coffee mug. Soldiers on the campfire witnessing the lieutenant approaching and whip out a hot mug for him from the kennel. Thanks. He brought the mug to his lips but froze not. His attention was drawn to the fighting area where Solera and Naja continued to fight. Naja at the time had placed Solera in a leg lock. Son of a bitch, they're still going at it! All the soldiers around the campfire looked to one another before back to the lieutenant. I guess can't really surprise this. The fact that I woke up alive and the smell of eggs and bacon chimney can indicate something. I would still have figured she'd be dead by now. He takes a drink of his coffee, his face cringes from the bitter taste. Blech. We ran out of the good stuff. The soldier nods at his comment. Moore sighs and takes a seat beside his man. He eyes the bonfire, currently sizzling up bacon and eggs. Make my eggs scrambled when it gets to my turn. He stares down his coffee mug while his meal was being made. He pulls out a wine pouch from his side and uncorks it over his drink. Nothing came out. He grumbles out of a puff of steam from his nostrils. Well, you guys feel like fighting? I feel like fighting tonight. The Emperor can have all the fun with these shirskers, right? He scratches under his chin with a bemused grin for himself. He peers over the shirsker camp and sees no one made any attempt at making a meal yet. Most of them were still spectating around the fighting area. Hey, how about you boys start fighting our delicious food away? Let the notices do the talking once they catch winds of our goods. He teasingly fans his hand over the bacon to throw his scent over. How do you guys reckon it'll be till they break and start demanding for his scraps? An arrow impales him to the log he was sitting on, just inches from his leg. Lauren, whose man guards the arrow, still vibrating from the force of the impact. They all shut their attention to where it came from. Out from the far reaches a Sharskern camp, and Archer was accompanied by a white wolf, Zuda. The moment Bourne met his eye, Zuda points to the arrow. Strung to the neck of the arrow was a piece of parchment. Bourne snapped his finger and ordered his soldiers to open it for him. All watched the gaze never let Zuda. A soldier pulls the note up for Bourne to see. The writing was scrappy but legible. Let's talk. The bulletin Huffer took at the notion. He sees something else written in the bottom of the note. We have booze. uh, he jolts his head up. He jolts his up and peers at Zuda, now with his arm held high with the bottle of wine in his paw. Morn turned and cracked to his neck before howling to his men. He orders out an envoy to meet with Zuda, insisting any weapons so be discarded if he were to cross over. Zuda obliges to meet with Morn at his campfire. White Wolf stretches his arm with the bottle in hand. Warren raised a brow from the blunt offer. Be my guest and pour one for yourself. Zuda huffed out a sigh. More poison for me, then. He sinks his face. Oh crap. Red streak stains his way for gripping the bottle at his neck. Smarmy. More snatches the bottle out of the spot. He sniffs the content inside. I'll never take you to meet a talkative type. She claims normally talk with tooth, fists, and nails. So I'm gonna cut this short here, guys, as my voice is really getting drawn out. I'm expecting some more gameplay of this in a few weeks or something in a month, because I'm busy with artwork and I have art block and I'm really tired lately. And school. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and, if you have a request, you want to see me do some funny things with Cabana, or talk about more the fursuit things and all that. Bye, peace, love.